Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. And if you want to support my brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. And that's the place where you can go to dress outside of the box and just, get your drip on. Okay, all my peoples, all my dreamers, my dreamettes, I love you guys. We made it. It's Monday, and we got a lot to talk about today. But before we even get into it, man, how are y'all doing, man? And I hope you guys are having a great day, and I hope you're up and your energy is up. As a matter of fact, let's start today talking about Bobby Shmurda. Shouts out to Bobby Shmurda. I tell you, man, if you could take some of Bobby Shmurda's energy and just put it in a bottle, man, you could sell that for so much money, trust me. Now, Bobby Shmurda, the reason why I wanted to start it off with him, because he took a couple visits to high schools. He's taking doing his rounds in between his busy life, I'm pretty sure, and he's talking to the kids directly on how he feels. And I watched it. It felt so good, you guys, because not only did he touch the people, but he gave his story from the way he told it and just how he came to this realization of what meant the most to him as far as his success and where he's at today and how he thinks today. So shouts out to Bobby Shmurda. Always love Bobby Shmurda, man. My Brooklyn brethren. Yes, man. So just coming out, just as he shows, just coming from a dark place or coming out of an environment where it might be aggressive, you can still put yourself in a place where you can inspire others not to go the path you went. So I really appreciated that, and hopefully we hear some dope new music. I'm always open to hear something that Bobby Shmurda is dropping because his energy alone is worth so much. It's priceless. So shouts out to Bobby Shmurda. Now, today we got a lot to talk about. We're back on this Diddy, like I told you guys, I wasn't gonna let the victims just go anyway, and I was gonna stick to it and bring the facts to you guys and just my takes on this whole situation. Now, as of today, the recent information that we heard that I didn't get a chance to speak to you guys on is Diddy. Now, the feds are saying that, Diddy's gonna tell a lot of people, on the A-list celebrities that been to his parties, the feds are gonna release, they're gonna be releasing a list on that. So this is when it gets tricky. This is exactly what I'm talking about right now. And it's not to say, I know there's 300 people and some was lying here and there, but when it boils to steam, they have the evidence. Now, let's just gather up what we think this could be, and let's see what they have that we know up to this point. Now, we know that they have the video of Cassie. We know that he has been drugging people. There's been, I believe there's been drugs found in the baby oil or whatever. And we know the sex trafficking. We know that. We also know of, they have that producer he's saying. We know that they're talking about J-Lo possibly being a part of this. We heard things about the people that worked around him, as far as like the Harv Pierres, and some of the people that work behind the scenes might be involved in this list. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Blessings, blessings. Yes. So I'm just talking about this whole Diddy situation, and the list is gonna drop, and it looks like it's probably gonna be dropped from this week or next week. And I'm just saying to myself, the people that's gonna be on this list, this is probably why this is going to be the most solid information that they have, because when you really think about it, the Fed saying that they're going to drop the list, that means that the people that are saying the allegations against him, they're not really looking towards that information. If they're saying they're dropping the list, this has everything to do with those freak offs and the parties and the tapes. That's the that's the evidence it looks like they're going with. Now, when it comes to those victims, that's more looking like that. I don't know if that's going to be a separate case or that's just going to be not a criminal, and it could just be like a money, for money. But when it boils down to it, what we heard, so I heard from Aaron Hall, the bodyguards probably involved in this. We have so many people, we heard so many different names that was at this freak off. And Diddy's not just sitting down and being quiet. Diddy is telling now. Now Diddy is in other words, he's not going down by himself. He like, the same people that were supposed to be my friends, this and that, now they're playing innocent, like they wasn't involved in the same things that he was doing. So they're ready to release this A-list. And as we know, some of these people, the people that we see, there could be possibly more, but they was already given a choice to pay their way out of this. So the ones who chose not to pay, those are most likely going to be the ones that we're going to hear their names pop up in this situation. And it's going to get messy. Trust when I tell you, it's going to get messy. Because not only now that we're seeing that, there's going to be people that what's their explanation of watching something or seeing Diddy or even participating within this and think that they're going to be in the same trouble as him? I don't see where it's going to get nasty this week when it comes down to this whole Diddy situation. And they're also, remember, we're also hearing that his son might possibly be involved in this because he has his own, I don't know if they're going to put it in a separate case, but we know that there's somebody that filed complaints against his son as well, saying that he was overly aggressive trying to do whatever on the yacht, if you guys have remember. So it's looking like the case right now, they're trying to get all the solid information, but it feels like a separation from all of those, the females that came after with those allegations. It seems like what he's going to be charged with is like the sex trafficking. And let me tell you, at that point with those, just that alone carries numbers within itself, up to probably, I mean, at lowest probably 10 to 15 years. So it's looking really messy when it comes down to that point. And I feel like the whole, if Diddy's going to get an appeal or if he's going to get like his way, I don't feel like that's out of the way because time is moving so fast. Before we know it, it's going to be up to the point where the case is going to be going on. This is going to be one of the biggest cases in hip hop history as well as entertainment. So we're going to see this most likely. I don't think that they're showing the case. They're showing the case though. We'll just hear about what happened in the case, and that's the scary part because they have to have the right amount of evidence to do this. So it's looking like they're putting things together, and yeah, it's boiling down, man. It's really boiling down to that time. They said it's going to be revealed before March 7th of 2020, before March 7th of 2025. So that's looking crazy. That's looking crazy. Now, when it comes down to Jay-Z's allegations, it's looking like that's so scattered. It looks like when it comes down to the whole Jay-Z involvement, I feel like the only way they can tie Jay in at this point, it's not from any of these people's stories. I feel like the only way they can tie him in if he's probably on these tapes. And if they don't have that proper information, as Jay's most likely not involved in this. I feel like they was just taking their grabs and see how much money they can pull in, and he wasn't going for it. So I'm very happy to see that Jay did fight back because you're fighting for your name here, and if you're not involved in this, you can be pulled in this and you possibly didn't do anything. So you gotta know how to speak up, and everything is not just a pay away and it just goes away. Sometimes it's gonna take this court and it's gonna take people, trying to put things together. So all of that right now, that whole Diddy, and that's a big mess. Now, when it comes to Lil Durk's situation, I feel like you guys, we're not gonna see Lil Durk again. I really honestly feel it's, I was thinking in my head, if this case gets a little too messy, and it might turn out to like the Young Thug if there's not sustainable evidence. But what they have on Lil Durk, when it goes to that murder for hire stuff, it's very, very rare those cases get beat. As a matter of fact, I don't think any murder for hire case has ever been beaten in the feds. I'm not too sure on that one. As history would tell it, that's why I try to explain to people, when you take on these positions, even a rapper, you might think a rapper, oh, it's not a really big position. When you take on these positions and you're making a substantial amount of money, and you go outside of that and you start your crime over, you're going to be tagged. It's going to look mafia-ish. And the reason why I say mafia-ish is because it's organized. You no longer are, your goal is no longer to be hustling on the corner where it might take away from time. Your goal is now you have the money and you're putting money in people's pockets to hurt people. That type of crime comes with life sentences and things like that, because once you're dealing with murder, it's not, I don't know what goes on in certain places, but out here in New York, anything with murder, anything that holds anything like that, you're probably gonna get life. You're most likely gonna get life. And don't talk about New Jersey. I mean, New Jersey, they throw people away. You see, so when it comes down to that, it's a sad thing, but at the end of the day, I think, Durk had enough time to stop all of this from happening before he can, because you know the real success when you really think about it was Durk not having to be in that environment. And that's the biggest success. That's the biggest get back. The people in that environment still feeling like they want to keep up with this violence is still lost within the fact that they can do something else to get out of there. So once you make it out and it's almost like you're throwing flames on the people that might not have those same opportunities. You might look at it like, oh no, they're out. No, they're not. You know, at the end of the day, when you hurt somebody, that pain travels. No matter what, you could become everybody could love you tomorrow. But if you hurt that old lady on the corner one day and you just kicked her down, you got to understand that one of these days you're going to be standing on that stage and somebody's going to be like, hey, do you remember when you kicked down that lady? So it's what you do now that can affect you in the future. And this is one of those things where it caught up to him. We've seen him trying to change, but do we know if he was trying to change to cover this up, or do we know if he was trying to change his life because he's seen something else? Because he had so much time to change his life. It's not like boiling down to now that, oh, he just seen this realization. No, he had this time from a long time when he blew up, and now when it boils down to them catching up to him is when he want to change. So we don't really know what's in somebody's mind. It's just crazy, man. And like I told you guys, they're building these new jails all over the place. And I don't know if all of these jails have the best intentions, but let's just say you don't want to end up in these places and become this lab rat of testing of things and medicines and different things that's going on, because that's what it's looking like. There's a lot of things going around as far as like in the air and things like that. And not only that, people are being poisoned by foods as well. So being in there is not the safest place. It's not the safest place. I'm pretty sure you guys don't get first picks over citizens or people that work outside of the prison. So you could just imagine the type of things they would have to be forced to eat. It's either eat that or you don't live. So that's not the place to be right now, man. It's just not ever. It's not ever the place to be, man. It's sad, but I don't think Lil Durk has any wins in that. I came across another thing too, just to show you how these lawsuits are going and how far back it can go. I came across an article and it was saying that Don King, he's facing a $3 billion fraud and defamation lawsuit over a failed boxing event. Now, if people that don't know, and if you're not really into boxing, Don King has been a pillar in boxing, and when it comes down to promotion, ever since since I believe it's the 70s or something like that, because I remember he was around Muhammad Ali time, and all the way up till now, even being promoted for Tyson, managing boxers. And it just goes to show that even all the way in 2025, they can still pull up some. That's why it's tricky out here. If you did somebody wrong in the past, man, listen, I would say get right with them. Get right with your people or whoever you did that to. Get right with them. Get right. These are not the times. These are the times where they're pulling up information and people are getting accused and locked up behind things they did in the past. And it's only right. If you did it, you did it. Do the crime, do the time. I look at it. But some of this stuff is just getting out of hand. Now, when it comes down to like the sexual crimes and things like that, I just can't stand for it. Like all that foul energy that's been hovering over hip hop. It's one thing of being over-sexualized, but it's another thing as a man to know, what you can and can't do. And I've seen a lot of times people overstep that due to this like fake power that they think they have. It's not really power, you guys. They just have more money than most likely the person trying to come up under them. And the things that person is trying to accomplish and the places that person is trying to go, they hold as this type of gatekeeper. They're saying, like wiggle it in front. And the sad thing about it is always your own people. And that's that's why I explained to you guys, a lot of times people don't know that hurts the culture more. When you hurt your own people, somebody has that memory of you hurting them. No matter if you have 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers, it doesn't matter. You hurt this person and they have this on you. So when your true self and people start explaining who you are and what you did to people behind the scenes, now that comes into play on who you are, and people are going to judge you for that. It's only right. Just be right with your people. Don't do people dirty. We've seen what's going on with Fat Joe and Lord Jamar. This thing took a different extension to all the way to the point where they dated back now to, Fat Joe not taking care of his boy Pun's family and stuff, and how he treated people behind the scenes. So I don't know, not to get into it, be like, it's really worth to get into, but at the same point, you just gotta know how to treat people, y'all. Treat your people right and try to be as honest as possible, because we're living in the times where, people are getting paid so much money to be dumb. And as funny as that may sound, right now, they want people to stay in this state of just, let's keep it entertainment, and don't try to better yourself, and just numb yourself within the entertainment and all these drugs and things like that. But yeah, you paying these people to be dumb, but you dumbing people down, but people they still have this, they still have this. And one day they'll wake up when they realize the money is not everything, and they'll realize and see that what you did, it's like, people are being awarded for the nonsense. And when that comes into play, it gets blurry on social media. Trust me when I tell you that. It gets very blurry when it comes down to that. And I can't knock nobody, and I don't want to point the finger and say so-and-so is this or so-and-so is that. But y'all know what I mean when I say people are getting paid to be dumb. Just not the best light of themselves. They're more of the, just the clown type of thing, and the talk about people and this and all of that stuff falls in the same category. It all does. It's nasty out there. Another thing now, I'm hearing Skip Bayless. He's accused of offering, so it's a co-worker or a hairdresser, $1.5 million to have sex with her. What kind of 1.5 to have sex with her? This is what I'm talking about. See, this is when we start to realize that it's not just in hip hop. This is in the business. This is something that has been going on, and you know how bad it is if you have to offer somebody 1.5 to sleep with them. 1.5 million, and I'm hearing he was saying, "Oh, I can change your life." You could, and the sadness about it is like, dude, the ladies don't like you. You can't gel well. What's your problem? It's always an issue. Like if you gotta pay somebody that much, that's how much these people would pay you guys to love them. That's the fake artificial love that's been going on in the industry. They'll rather pay for their stuff. And this is no disrespect. Like I seen every commercial, I see Oprah's podcast come up on the commercial and stuff. And I said, Oprah, you don't have to pay for promotion. You're Oprah. You don't let people catch on to what you're doing. I know you're doing a podcast, and it's your job. You always had this type of, the podcast is just like a new realm of what you used to do. But you don't have to pay your way and get on every commercial and show you. No, people they'll find your podcast organically on YouTube. YouTube is not a place where you dish out a whole bunch of money and you got to throw the commercials in people's face to force them to watch. People are going to watch what they watch. You're a respectable person. Don't do the pay your way stuff. And because we see a lot, that's the same thing that falls into this whole antitrust thing. When you have people that have a whole bunch of money and they feel like they don't want to do that grind ever again, and they'll buy their followers, buy their subscribers, buy their views. And as much as you think that's not buying the view, it's like it was in their face. It's in your face, it's in your face, it's in your face, you're gonna click it, But does that give it that organic strength where you was like, oh, I like the title, let me see what they're conversating about? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. But that's just a little, I was just like, man, don't lose yourself in it has to be 1 million views and this and that, because it doesn't matter about that part, doesn't matter. It's the messaging and what is it worth it? In what the conversation that you're speaking on, is it worth it? Can it connect with the youth? Or is it more than your age group connecting with your conversations? These are things you have to ask yourself, and just paying your way to get a listen or a watch, you're not going to discover that in that. You're going to know organically if, the ages and put things together, but when you just pay your way and, just because you want to have big numbers, it just goes to show that you might have a disconnect in your audience. This, you know, like you find your conversation in the people that is willing to listen to it instead of the people you pay or push in their face to watch. Let me see. I did see the Drake. He dropped the, what is it? The Fighting Irish freestyle, and I see that everybody. You know, I still bump Drake music like a lot. I have a playlist, and he has a lot of songs in the playlist. Drake, he worked hard. I feel like people are just going for this, and yes, he brought up some names in it because I'm feeling like he's seeing the same thing that we've been talking about. There's not really friends in the industry, so now people see the retaliation when he starts to figure it out. Like, you know, these people wasn't really on my side. They was there for the buzz, or maybe some of them switch. All of that, you got to understand, he has to take all of this in, figure it out, understand it, get to know it, and then still go out there and perform at his best. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to good music, there's not a lot of artists out here that's just going for there are a lot of artists that are just going for the quick buzz, the viral, the viral, the viral. And what that leaves the audience with is splurts of these hit songs without no stories attached to them. And that's the type of music that doesn't last as long. So no matter what people say between Kendrick or Drake, both of those artists still gave us both substantial amount of music and bodies of work that we can still attach to. So that's what makes both of those artists great. Now, me doing the comparison, who's this and that, I feel like I'm so done and so far away from that. I just want to hear as much good music as we can, because at the end of the day, you got artists out here that's using this whole back and forth, like beefing with each other to get themselves heard or in a spotlight. For example, one of my favorite, and I listen to this person more than a lot of artists, Nas Escobar, my guy Nasir Jones. Nobody in hip hop ever disses Nas. He's the God MC. Everybody knows that, from the youth all the way up. Nas don't be having problems with people are talking out of pocket and talking about this and so did this. No, Nas always sticks to, and he always puts out bodies of work to the point where that his bodies of work overlap. It's like overlapped himself, and he's still getting nicer and nicer and nicer. Now you got a guy out the West Coast. He's one of Tupac's one of the outlaws from Tupac crew. You got, I think his name is like Napoleon or something like that. This guy, all of a sudden, he picks up, what, 2025 to come out of his mouth to start dissing Nas. And to me, it's not about that you don't have, any artist can say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, your reach, it doesn't extend that long, man. Out here in New York City, all the way to West Bubble, Nas is the God MC. You can't say Nas has bad music. You can't say he has bad beats. You can't say none of that. Shouts out to Chicago and all the people that's trying to spam, whatever, man. Y'all ain't gonna do too good, man. Trust me, man. Russia got a one-up on y'all. We better get ourselves together. Out there in Russia, while people paint this picture about these people are so and so, this and that, they are paying the females when they have a baby. The females are getting paid now, automatically, and we have to start thinking about life instead of technology. So stop pointing the fingers at everybody outside, and we got to start paying attention to and start dealing with ourselves and what we're working with out here. So when we can start loving each other, because let me tell you something, two people that don't love each other, or a whole bunch of soldiers that don't even love each other, don't think that's going to be the best war. Yeah, I read worldly news, and I'm hearing what's going on in these other places. And let me tell you, some people are trying to do better for their people, and that's what we need to do for our people. But back to the Nas and that guy, his reach is it just doesn't extend that far, enough for me even to want to hear what he has to say. You haven't even, and that's just my take on it. It doesn't matter where he or the people, you know. I just feel like for certain artists, just jumping out, you have to have a sustainable amount of good music to even speak to certain people. Those are real artists. Those are not just pop up artists from here or just popped up and went viral. No, this is not that. And if you had this all the way from back then, you see how people are? I ain't paying no mind to him. He bad energy talking about he changed his life. He is bad energy, and I don't think Nas should even respond to that nonsense, to be honest with you. To his fans, you know, he has, I know everybody has their own little audience and fans and stuff. To his fans, they might feel like, oh, he did something, but to the people that Nas music stood in their hearts, man, he didn't even, I wouldn't even pay no mind to that, to be honest with you. I don't even think the world wants to hear that, to be honest with you. When you're talking about the God MC with a disrespect like that, I don't even think that, you know, nah. You can move on with that one. It's just people, they lose it for this, like, they want that type of energy until it really happens. It's like, come on now. I've seen some really disrespectful things. I've seen, and this is not to say on anything, but I seen something going back and forth, and I'm like, it's Vegas. Now I seen the whole thing, people talking about 50 Cent, there was somebody was talking about, how the crowd there was kind of empty, and I seen Hot 97 picked up on it. But to be honest with you, Vegas is a place of money. It's more entertainment. When you have a residency, or you see musicians or people out there doing residency, it means like they already got paid for it, and this is for the people. It's like almost like that come down and just check it out. There's other things going on. It's not like the rap is running the whole Vegas. That's not what it is. I think people are kind of not understanding what it is. Vegas is the big place where they pay people to stay there so they can bring more attraction to Vegas. And that's what that's about. So whether it's one day it might not have a lot of people, the next day it might. Fifth is trying to pick up a bag wherever he goes. Fifth is the type of guy, he'll go all the way to Africa and pick up his bag and come right back. So we know what's going on. Let's just keep it, let's keep it in a way where we're not blocking people's money from the jokes we tell. Because at the end of the day, we all need whatever somebody else might need more than somebody else to survive. That's just the life you pick, the life you chose, So when it comes to that, it seems like they're traveling around. And Vegas is a pretty dope spot. And people, there's a lot of money around Vegas. I guess people will be able to, check out his show. But and that's another thing too. Vegas is not a place where you jump on stage and start performing a whole bunch of new songs. No, you have to have an amount of hit records already people know you for. So when you go up there, people traveling and things, they can remember and attach to the music that they hear on the radio and things like that. And nowadays on New York radio, it sounds like everything is on repeat. And it seems like every hour or two you're hearing the same things over and over. That's why I told you AI and technology is going to take a lot of people's jobs when it comes to this year and beyond. Do you guys hear me well? Do y'all hear me loud enough? Can y'all hear me clear? Just put a 1 or a thumbs up if y'all can hear me clear. Because sometimes when it let me see. Hold on. I could tell y'all. Okay, cool. Y'all can hear me. But yeah, man. And did y'all get a chance to see that Diddy on the Peacock, that Peacocks documentary? It's crazy. It's crazy. It just goes to show you all of this power. It's like, power what? What kind of power you think you're going to come to America? You can't, and that's the problem we have within ourselves and within our culture. I see a lot of people so ready to fight if black Americans own this and that. But what we don't realize is the minute we get off of that, we still got to come together. But this whole hip hop and people being off of who started it, the reason why y'all don't realize is because you don't have no structure. This shouldn't even have been an argument or a conversation that extended so long. But there's no history, there's no places you can go and see the real facts because everything gets confusing. Man, we in a place where we gotta do a lot better for ourselves, and we have to show a little more respect. And not only that, artists gotta show more respect for the audience as well too. It's not just about the audience showing respect to the artists. No, I think that the audience show a lot of respect to these artists by showing up at these shows, buying their merch, and, you know, investing time into listen to their music. But some people, they treat this like, oh, this is just a hustle, money, money, money. And then by the time they finish and they get to a certain point, they're at a certain age, they're like, they can't even enjoy the money how they thought they could. You know, so it's like, be mindful and be very prepared for what's next, because you never, I don't, to me, honestly, if you're looking at how I look at it, I don't trust everybody, man. I know when somebody's trying to make a selling point out of a slogan, you know what I mean? They're trying to tell you something so you can invest in something that they got going. You could just tell the difference. You remember when Diddy did the apology? And he's like, hip hop takes that same, that same like stance on that. Like, you, it's like I always tell you guys, you can't look smart. You can't, these are things that, if you want to be a leader, and these things that you want, or people, they want to be gods, they want to be leaders, they want to be kings, you got to walk in those shoes. If they don't fit you because you're doing something outside of what we know as an audience, out, and you're selling this and selling that, hurting this, then when the law comes down and the feds come chasing at you, what you want us to do? We looking on like, oh, I didn't know that. I see guys every day, you know, you can tell, especially when it comes to our culture, boy, they don't realize that even if they have money up to here, it still equals to this. You know, you're up here with the money on your ear, the feds are watching you guys, you're gonna get RICOs, all of this money is gonna go into somebody else's pocket. And for what? I mean, if you was really smart and you really wanted to do something with your money and for your family, you would try to get your, if you do have a partner or some kids, put in their name, or maybe try to build up an account. But what are you doing? You're throwing a whole bunch of junk and this glass stuff on your neck, and you want the attention, but when you get the attention, you don't know what to do with it. It makes no sense. It just, it's like, it's beyond me. I seen, now, let's just, real quick on battle rap. So you know, I heard that Suge battle Easy the Block Captain. For you guys that don't know, Easy the Block Captain is the guy, now I could say it because I believe they solidified it, that him and Remy, it is a thing. Because in this particular battle that just happened, he disrespected Papoose, and he, you know, the Papoose has his famous alphabet freestyle that he did with K Slay, the letters, and he did it over, and he just disrespected the man in it. And also, they kind of solidified that they're together. So all of this that we've been hearing of, as far as her going back and forth with Shorty and Papoose going back and forth with, yeah, it looks like it's they got something going for themselves. So I would say at this point, you know, grant the divorce, y'all go y'all separate ways to keep it legal, because right now it's in the public's eye. It don't look like, you know, if you guys took this to court, that either you guys would have any substantial say in it, because at the end of the day, you guys broke your vows. And you gotta understand, you know, marriage is serious. It's not like just a regular relationship type of, you know, thing, and you got kids involved and things like that. You want to, you know, but sometimes it don't work out that way, and you can't just force people to stay together. But now that I see all of that, I'm like, wow, you know, they don't get along at all. So that is some kind of friction going on between them. But I'm hearing though, you know, from how, you know, that she, you know, Remy always showed, as far as the battle, she showed up, she, you know, and she's not a person that's gonna hide her face, you know. So if it is love, you know, you just gotta be happy for people, and hopefully they work it out, you know, some other way. But yeah, that was kind of crazy too, man. That was kind of crazy. What else we got here? Let me see something. I had something else for you guys. So Royce Reed, which is Dwight Howard's ex, I believe, ex-baby mother, I believe. He has a baby with her. And she was saying that how, you know, Dwight Howard had wore a dress at a Diddy party. And you know what? I'm not surprised. I mean, time and time again, I heard different things on Dwight Howard, and you know, sometimes a lot of these guys, they get caught in the time where they don't feel like opening up to the public because they're caught. But it is what it is, man. He was wearing a dress at a Diddy's party, and oh man, I don't know. I think a lot of females have to look out for that too, that you might be dating a guy that's bisexual, and if that's not your preference, or if that's not what you expected, you gotta keep it moving. don't make, and I'm not saying she did this, but don't make, money be everything in the relationship, because at the end of the day, then you ain't gonna have no say, and whatever goes on, you're just gonna be stuck to dealing with, because whatever freaky weird stuff that you probably, your values that or your morals that you don't mess with, probably go on, and there you are in the middle of it because you want money. And if you jump out the relationship, you might feel some kind of way, like all of this stuff. It makes a bad relationship, man. It makes a bad relationship. It's nasty. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Could you hear me? Is it like, I don't know, man. Sometimes they be trying to spam me up. I don't know why, but they be trying to spam me up. It's crazy out there, yo. I just be thinking to myself, like, yo, are these people serious? What type of relationships they working with here, man? Shouts out to Rihanna, though. Ah, word. Riri still chilling. Riri good. She's always enjoying herself. She got her Puma deal. Everything looking good for Riri. I'm glad, and I'm hoping that her name is not come up in none of this, as far as whatever they got, because I don't want her name to come up in there. She's been through her own little taste of this wicked industry, and then she made it out alive. She made it out alive. So I always champion Riri, man. I always champion the ones that just they didn't have to go through all of this craziness, because, man, listen. When you value yourself, you'll be in a safer place. And when you don't have no value or don't know who you are, you find yourself in a place where people will do whatever with you. Yeah, man. I'm happy, she got, I'm happy for Riri and ASAP. And I'm hoping that everything works out with them and they don't fall victim to all of this social media nonsense. Because come on, man. Social media, and it's not, and to be honest with you, your relationship shouldn't be so shallow where social media could just tear it apart. It shouldn't be that way. But I can see how it can, because both of you have to see the realization that it's not real. And yes, some of it could be real, but it's also filters of everybody's best self. And not everybody goes live to show you what it is. So that can be harmful to people that, they're trying to get somewhere and they don't have their ways of getting there. I don't knock anybody, because it ain't easy out here nowadays. It ain't easy. They said that, after all of the voting and all these things, we're gonna, start looking on the up and up. But the way it looks like in society, it looks like the prices are going up and up, and people are finding it harder to, to survive. So I think those are the things that we have to more deal with and pay more attention to than just wondering, who's sleeping with who. Because at the end of the day, you can have your fun and still be single too. It's nothing wrong with that. But when your community is not safe and people are getting shot here and there and stabbed here, and it's just like, you don't want to be a part of that. You want to do good for your people, but sometimes you can't even trust your own people. You can't. Think about some of the greatest rappers that could have made change got killed. And they all had, if you realize and you put it together, they had like the similar energy. Like Stack Bundles had Pop Smoke energy and vice versa. They had that good energy about them. And people get jealous of them and see that they're doing something that they can possibly do themselves, but they feel like they probably inside know that they can do it better than them. So they get jealous of them and they want to go off with this type of vibe. Jealous people ruined a lot in hip hop too. All the jealousy and the hating and the fake talents and all that stuff, it ruined a lot of people, man. I don't know. Don't get yourself jealous with these people, because sometimes having all of this stuff it doesn't really suit everybody. And that's why I explained to you, I seen a interview, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't try to tell people, oh, don't wear this Gucci, don't wear this Louis, don't this and that. But if I'm trying to let you understand that it's not that I can't afford these things. It's the fact that you don't need these things to make your value, seem like you're better. A lot of that stuff is just because you might feel somebody or the internet or social media is looking at that person like, oh, they got it, that's fly. You got to always remember that there's somebody that can see through that. Like, get in, like, dress to your energy. That's how I feel. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna get up here and I don't know. I just feels funny because I know, and it's not downing those people, but it's just like there's not a lot of us in high fashion, and it's sad. And it's not because, it's really because we don't trust us, and we don't see, sometimes we don't see the value in our brothers and sisters that's trying to build up things, because we feel like for example, clothing right now for our culture as black people, clothing is a hobby. People do their merch and do that, and it's like a hobby. But in the white culture, clothing is a business. And if you pay attention and see really why that is, and it's because we don't value us as people say we do, and we gotta love us better. Like, we gotta understand that working together doesn't mean you have to step on everybody's toes and, oh, they're doing this, let me just do that. Because if it's not in you to do, then people are not gonna believe in what you have. And I don't see other cultures being so aggressive towards their own as much as we are towards ourselves. And that's a sad thing that we have. We don't see the value in each other. And it's one thing of knowing the value of yourself, but it's another thing of like looking at somebody and seeing the value in them, and just knowing somebody's out there just to hustle or trick somebody out of some money, because that's the only way they know how to do it. Like I tell you, in these times, the lower, if you take education out of it, and you take and you kind of add into all the things that the hustle, the quick money and the quick things, that looks more like success to many people because of social media. Like the educational part, people stay away from that, and they, when you hear somebody, you can just feel the negative vibes about them when education or books or anything like that has, and they're the same people that they want you to stand behind them as they tell you the value of black culture, when they don't even really know the history. They might have heard some clips here, there, and they try to make their own like picture of it. But the true fact is, if you love your people, you will more bring people together than pull people apart. And that's just, I've never ever seen people pulling people apart that loved everybody. That's not the way to go. And it's true. In our time, a lot of people have taken from our culture, and they've profited off of our ideas. I'm a victim of that myself. But it's one thing I learned throughout that. The people that do that, yeah, they do profit, but do they really profit? Is it all about the money? Don't always think they profit. There's a lot of people that they don't tell you about how they messed up their whole family line, their whole family, because of money. And money ran through their kids not loving them. I mean, I'm talking about when they pass away, the kids do something else with the company, take the money, don't know how to manage it, ends up in somebody else's hands, people not taking care of them, dying lonely. All of this falls into the same box of when you don't know what to do or when you take from somebody else. So yeah, our culture has been stolen. They stole so many different things from us, yes. But how we became so great and what made us who we are, that we still fought through it and we still fight for what we believe in is right. And people are scared of that. They're not scared of they're not scared of what you did yesterday or how you got help yesterday. They're scared of what you can do tomorrow. What you can take and make out of something that they need so much to even make something out of. When all you need is a little something and you'll make the world out of it. There was a time when people thought that rap was probably the only thing that's going on. But there's so many other things that our culture that we embody and that we're great at too. It's not just about just rap. And if the youth only see that, you're going to have this funnel of kids that think their dreams is to do that. And their dreams probably doesn't even line up with entertainment. A lot of these people are lost, and it's because of social media. That's why I always try to tell people, in these conversations that we do have, sometimes we are busted up about culture and things like that. But when I bust it up, I want to find the things that, because I start realizing like food brings everybody together. Food is one thing that, you could be arguing. Once somebody poke a little food in your mouth, you start to, oh my goodness, now you want to learn more. So these are the things these are those healing points that we need to bring. Even if we start with food and come together from that point, we got to stay together when at the end of all of this, because we're about to go into how I feel like we're going to have the biggest war coming. And it already started in a way, but it's not. This is like you know what started when it comes to the war. This is the ice grilling already started. The shoving already started, but it didn't get to this yet, because when it gets to this, I feel like everybody's gonna feel the effect of this. Misguided youth, misguided people is not gonna ever have a good result. And I feel like we're gonna go into war because what people are fighting for are the opposites, you know? So yeah, that's what it's gonna get real spooky 2025. I can see it. I can see it. I see what's going on. I see what's going on. But at the end of the day, we got to know that we as people, we're the ones that control our communities. We're the ones that have to live in these places, while those other people, you know, that look down on us, you don't have to feed them all your energy. You know, try to survive with the people that know how to survive in your environments, because then people, they'll talk like they stop by here and there, and they run off to wherever they're at, and where they go at, they don't feel welcomed over there. They're not welcomed over there. They haven't reached that with those people. They felt connected here. They broke that connection to run away. So we have to stick within our community and lift our peoples up. That's how it works. That's how it works. What else? What else? I had something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. That Nas thing, I was just like, who's this guy? I mean, I can't entertain you, man. And I know you had time in the game and the hip hop, but you haven't laid down enough substantial, enough. You're not Tupac, okay? And people get that twisted too. You got this love bursting out, and Tupac is not from the West Coast. He was not originally from the West Coast. You know, we know the hip hop history here. Pac, wherever Pac's landed and wherever Pac laid his art down is where he always felt loved. And that's the type of person that you want to be. His energy made everybody feel like family. But don't think just because he was out in the West Coast in his last days, that's where his heart was. His heart was everywhere. And you got to leave that within your music. So this guy talking about how he's dissing Nas, and I don't think it's even equaling up, and I don't even think that it's the type of thing that people are tuning into. You got to change your energy. Maybe come with something substantial enough that you can grab people's ears without you adding friction to your bars. That'll be better off, for real. It's a certain point. It's a certain time, and if you grown, man, you got to come with better energy. I see it all the time. It's so easy to come with a negative energy, and that's why a lot of these other artists, they fall off. The artists that's still here and that can still make great music always made great music. They wasn't scuffling just to make a hit or make you just jump, because those are the people that get lost in the game. You can't take your music and expect that you're gonna live bill to bill to bill to bill, and one day you're gonna have the money to pay that bill. You can't live like that. So I seen another thing. Jim Jones. Jim Jones. I love Jim Jones. I seen somebody talking about Jim Jones. I was like, wait, hold on. What are y'all talking about? Jim Jones been a hustler from back in the day, and he always kept like, you got to understand, man. It's always in the person. Don't look at the group as the group as the group. Look at that person as an individual. He's always working with the youth. He's always trying to keep what's hot. And yeah, he want to participate within the music because he's an MC, and he wants to show people that he's getting better and better as the years to come. He already got stake in the game. So I'm happy to see that, because when you see artists, they have their first song, it's always dope to have somebody that's in the game, that's pretty much established and have their feet planted to at least work with you or even jump on a remix, and it helps you boost your record. So when it comes down to Jim Jones, I don't see a hating bone in his body. The guy just does what he does, and that's one of the reasons why I give Dipset, as far as Dipset, Cameron, I give them a lot of respect for keeping that amount of people together. Because in these times, you got 5 friends and you give it 5 years and you only got 2 people left, you know? So at the end of the day, you got to look at the guys that's really out there that understand where it can go and understand where they can help you in certain departments. And Jimmy's one of those guys. So when I see Jim out there still, you know, knocking some music down or dropping a new remix of somebody's track and trying to make it, you know, like the Harlem track, and he getting a little buzz off of it, I never knock that, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are getting held behind it. It's just like with the Cameron and this whole Elliott Wilson thing. I know Cam is probably gonna fry him up today or whenever the next time he comes back to the for his season 2. But it's the same thing of, you know, you gotta invest your time into the person. See who you're investing your time in. Would they help somebody? Even if it's not you, would they help somebody like you? No, and they start talking down on people, get away from them, man. Because rappers be like that sometimes too. Sometimes they get caught up with the money and then behind the scenes they're like this. They'll talk about you. Yeah, they'll talk about you. I don't mind that though, but it's just like a lot of them ain't rap too tight. And these times, I like to make sure the person that I'm tuning into, I like to know at least a good amount about that person before I even just tune in like that. And what are they talking about? What are they trying, you know? That's me. Because you could waste some time on some nonsense out here, boy. Where y'all chopping it up from? Where y'all tuning in from? Let me know, let me know, let me know. If you're still there, if you still care. Facts. Facts. That's how I feel. Over there trying to diss Cam. It's not easy out here. Content creating has took a turn to like a different direction. I see what's going on. I know sometimes that people want to grab the headlines because but what I try to do, I'm going to give you a little secret. Yeah, I do grab the headlines, but I also like to give you a little piece of my takes and a lot of my takes on how I feel about life in general in every episode, because at the end of the day, what we see in here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it fits our life. Like sometimes on social media, you could be your mad self, but outside of social media, you happy, or vice versa, you know? So a lot of this stuff that, you know, people swear that it bothers them, I try to stay away from all of that stuff, because I don't need to trigger anything else to trigger more of my anxiety. Illinois, of course. Of course, of course. Got love for y'all, got love for y'all. We're going to change the energy around these places and start getting people to think different and find their value in themselves. Because let me tell you, people don't realize that pot of gumbo coming from struggle. Man, them folks up in them suburbs, they would die to have a little bit of that energy. And as much as you say, really? Are you serious? They want to be in the hood? They would take that. You know why? Because they know once they put one foot in the hood, they're going to take that other foot and run the hell out and take that story and go way further than they feel like those guys that want to stay on that corner will ever take it. You see the difference? They want to take that struggle and attach it onto whatever they got to sell you in the future, and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars. Meanwhile, if you stand next to the guy that's saying, this is my block, this is my hood, and you stand there for long enough, you ain't going to be able to sell your story. It's all about when you get the value in yourself, you start saying, no, I'm not telling them everything. I'm going to wait to put this in this book, or I got whatever I got going. Oh, what's up with the 2 times 2? Let me see. Am I reading this right? Congrats on. Oh, 2K. I'm blind. Look at me. Thank you. You seen it, huh? You seen I got my little 2? You seen I got my little 2? Took a while to get there, y'all. It took a while to get there. I ain't gonna lie, because I didn't no paid promotion, nothing like that. I realized people, they like to hear me chop it up and things, and I just kept building with my stuff. And I started with my animations, and I also had another channel, and it was going so slow. The minute I started taking my mind off of all of that, the views and having it, and I just kept going, keep going. God know my heart. I promise you, if this turned into one of them channels where you see them people, they start getting a whole bunch of money coming in and things like that, I'm gonna help you guys out. If you need something, I'm gonna help you guys out with it. A lot of these people, they don't have that within themselves to do, because they feel like when they get it, oh, I have this and I have so much of this and that to do, I gotta do this. No, I work hard for this. This is mine. It's like, look, slow down, slow down. You don't want to be that football player saying, you know what, I'm gonna buy that Ferrari even though I can't fit in it because I burnt my knee out at the game and I deserve it. No, you want to be the guy that say, you know what, I'm gonna hold back on the Ferrari and I'm gonna wait to see, maybe get a truck or something. And I'm not gonna do all of that. I know I worked hard, but I'm cool with that. I'm good. Once you start getting that mindset, they're gonna be, trust me. They'll put that Hermes bag right at your door. Please, please, just wear it. The trust that people have in you. So you gotta build yourself up. Build yourself up. Don't sell it for cheap. No way. What's going on with Cardi and Offset though, y'all? Like for real, like it's over? Relationships in general in these times is just looking bad. And I don't know, I don't know, man. And everything is so in the public, so that everything is so like if you're sliding off or you guys are going your separate ways and you might have an agreement, somewhere down the line, people are gonna catch you on video. Oh, look at him over here with her, and so that's new for me. That's just new. That's new. That's new. That's new. That's right. That's when you really love somebody. When you really, really love somebody, that's why you should always try to work it out. No matter what the public or whatever the situation might be, it might be not in your favor, not in her favor, but whatever it might be. If you guys really, really, truly love each other, try to work it out. Even if you take a break from each other, try to work it out. If not, then go your way, man. Go your way. Yeah, they really separated for real. That's sad though. They had something going. When they first started, they had their thing going. I think sometimes when you get, to be totally honest with you, Offset, he was kind of like still out there. He was still playing the fool. In other words, what my grandmother would say, he was still playing the fool because he was still out there. You gotta, as a female, you have to know when a guy is at his settled down point and when he still has his eyes for everything else. You can't really, even if you love you attracted to somebody, work with them and work with them all the way up until he's up to the settle down point. But if you jump in front of that, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna stop trying to be. It takes, for us guys, it takes the maturity level. You guys mature way faster than us fellas, and by the time we get to that point where we realize, sometimes we look back and be like, damn, she gone, so at the end of the day, you gotta know what you want and know what type of person it is. He doesn't seem like he's going to be settling down anytime soon, to be honest with you. That's just my take on it, and that's not to diss nobody, but it just seemed like Cardi she'll be more quicker to settle down and bunk up with somebody than he would, in other words. And some guys go through that when they're in their young stages and they like you for a certain amount, but then they see a new face and they get attracted to a new thing, and then it's like on and on and on and on until that attraction of the new thing will be more not on the features, it'll be more on who that person is as a person. Once you start looking for that, that's when you're going to find somebody that's going to complete you, not just a person that looks. Because when it comes to looks, trust me, people could look like anybody in these times, and all this surgery going around, you don't know what looks is one thing. Have a little attraction, but at the end of the day, looks don't make a relationship go. At the end of the day, when I look back at some of the most, like the couples that I could look, the old school couples, and I know y'all probably don't like that, but when you look at the old school couples and you look at the ones that really lasted long, you're like, how did they get together? Like, they don't even look like I would really want to know how they got together, because they don't look like they just match up like that. And that's usually the best relationships, because somebody, when somebody loves you and for your heart, it's way different than somebody loves you for your features. Just like Kanye West the other day, I was so upset when I heard that, like he's swinging his girl around, like look at her body. And I'm like, as a man at this age and this point in time in your life and your career, you more concentrating on her body than who she is as a person, which we don't even know because she doesn't even talk much. But that just goes to show where your mentality thrives still on that sexual thrive on things. And it's not like to say that that's a bad thing, but you just gotta balance that out. Like sex is one thing, but you got once you mix love in it, then that sex becomes forever. If you don't mix the love in it, then the sex just becomes a thing, and that's just don't really. I don't know, but that's just me on that. And yeah. So yeah, I could also see why. That's why when I told you that story with Ben and J Lo, I could see why Ben that could kind of be like, I don't want to deal with this whole thing because not a lot of us want to deal with that. There's so many, and I'm not saying everybody has these options because when you love somebody, you love somebody. You don't, it's hard to get out of that and just go, oh, I want that person. No, but if you get yourself in a situation where somebody, you're just only there for the way they look, it's not going to last long. It never does. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm-mm. Looks is one thing, but relationships takes more than, man, listen. You're up against everything. You're up against social media, up against the next couple. You're up against the last people you two guys dated. You're up against everything. So if you guys don't want to go through it hand in hand and go straight through without the noise, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Don't announce it on social media either. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. I heard something. Did you guys hear about? I didn't want to put this up on the topics, but I heard like a lawsuit going for Nicki Minaj, and I guess it was like her hairstylist or something like that, and something went behind it, and he's trying to sue her, and I just looked at it like all of this suing back and forth, and I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong, but it's kind of like, man, what the hell is going on? Are we making the money, or are we just people are just taking the money? How are we going about this thing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Blessings, blessings. I'm hoping y'all take some good energy. This Monday, it's kind of like cloudy out in NYC. I'm like, nah, man, I want that sun to come out. If that sun come out, it hit different. It just hit different. You feel good. It's very, very, very cloudy. But good morning, good morning. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Love you guys. Sometimes I get you guys to tune in after it's all over. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Not always happy, but I'm happy today. Figuring life out is not like it doesn't always put a smile on your face. That's how I feel. Sometimes you figure something out and you're like, damn, I wish I didn't figure that out. Because now I know that ain't gonna ever leave the way I look at that particular type of situation. But we move along, and as humans, we come together on the things that we love the most. And yeah, I'm waiting to see what's going on. I feel like this Diddy case. You guys think this is gonna be bigger than the OJ case? OJ was big, man. I'm talking about Orca big, man. It was really big. I mean, OJ was different. Like, he just kept driving. With Diddy, he kind of got caught up in the mix. At the end of the day, he was so high on this stuff that by the time they came and they tried to catch him, he was ready to surrender, and even though he was surrendering for, because that's where his mind was at. I seen him slip in a while though. When I rewind back and see all the things he was doing, like you was doing that. He's into the young chicks. Number one, you're into young chicks, and I'm not saying that it has to be a legal young, but you're into young chicks. Cassie, he had everybody that he was even. I'm not sure, is J-Lo younger than him? I'm not sure, but his even Young Miami, even though she didn't get, and I don't know allegedly, but she didn't get what Cassie got, as far as the fighting and the beating. But we don't know where it would have ended up if he kept going on as the years were to come. She might have found herself in the same situations Cassie was in. So, oh, Chicago, from Chicago. That's right. That's right. That's right. I got a lot of love for y'all, and I'm counting on y'all in Chicago. I'm counting on y'all out there. I'm counting on y'all big time. I believe so. I believe that the stories and the things we've seen with the old block and people just gunning down people, I know y'all can do better than that. I know y'all, and I know a lot of good people come from Chicago. I know that. And that's why I want to see more people paint that picture, because the picture that these people are painting of people, it make it seem like the whole place is there. No, there's some good people all over the world. We just got to get, as our people, we got to pull them to the side, and we got to show them how we look as a whole. And then we'll start fixing up ourselves. Because all the killing back and forth, it don't lead to nothing. Even out here in New York, y'all, it's like out here took a change for the worse out here too. It ain't just y'all. It took a change for the worse. They burning people and all this wicked stuff in the trains and places that I used to walk past when I worked in the city. There, people are getting shot down. Let me tell you, in New York, when it came to Manhattan, there's no way you could even pull out a BB gun in Manhattan. We're not like everybody else. We are like, just think of like high school detention. That's what we on. When it gets like, when one person does something crazy out here, we all know we're walking on eggshells. New York is no game. They would throw you away for the rest of your life. But now we see people are just being bold because they don't understand and they take the weapons out there. You would think that weapons, you can get weapons easy out here as far as like licensing and all that. No, you still do time for it. But that don't stop people from out here from shooting people down because it's just the energy. The temperature has seeped from social media into everybody's real life. So what we might see could be going on in Russia, people licking people down and doing this and that to their family, is the same thing that could be happening out here in the Bronx or Queens or Brooklyn. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So we all dealing with it, and we got to get a better picture for ourselves. Because I know there's a lot of good people that lives in these aggressive environments that they scared. They scared. It ain't right, y'all. It ain't right. And the ages, man, the age is getting younger and younger. Because we know at a certain age, you start to think to yourself, wait, hold on. Is this really worth it? It's nothing that could, this is how you get unbothered. Let me give you a little drip of this juice. Being unbothered, the energy is not to say that, the energy is more like you recognize, like you know that person knows that if they say that about you, it's going to trigger you to be this particular way. But you know that when you stay level-headed, that person doesn't have a good day because they always want to see you down. They don't want to see you smile. So what's your whole outlet on this chessboard? What's your next move? Your next move on this chessboard is not to run in harm's way and give them the energy they expected. Your chess move will be to stay back, get protected, protect your energy, protect what you got going on, keep your happiness, and that in turn, that will make that light shining on your happiness alone is gonna, they can't even, they blinded by that. They don't want to go near that. They'll call you all sorts of righteous, all sorts of, you think you better than this and that. And meanwhile, everybody that come around you, you helping them and you doing good for them and you loving on them and they loving on you and you having a good time while they stand outside of that and they try to tell you what's going on in your life. There's a difference, and there's so many different ways to skin a cat. Is when you go against people with the things that they're best at doing, as far as hurting people, as far as going out there speaking down on people, that's what they're good at doing. That's the reason why they're in the positions they're in. If you don't want to get good at that stuff. That's low energy. Those are for people that they're lost in life. By the time they find themselves, it'll be too late. You have to be the type of person that knows how to defend these types of people in your life. The less of those people in your life, the easier it is for you to understand what's going on. I'm talking about even if a guy breaks up with you, a girl breaks up, you wouldn't even feel no way. Yeah, you're going to feel the hurt of that sense of loss of, you guys' companionship. But at the end of the day, you're going to feel more happy for that person and happier for yourself that probably wasn't the one for you. And you'll be so ready to see what's next that you won't be worried about what's in the past. Because God has a lot of surprises for us all, only when we are ready to receive them. For these people, they don't have religion or anything. If you attach religion to anything you do, and I don't care what religion it may be, just knowing that there's a higher power and you can have that type of sense of energy, you're going to be successful at it. You're going to be successful at it. Sometimes it takes people longer to get where they got to go. But look, just like you said, I'm up to 2,000 people. And I remember when I used to jump on here and only one or two people are tuning. They didn't know me yet. They didn't know where my heart was. They didn't put that trust in me. They didn't want to give me that trust. The energy was going crazy. People were nuts. They were going back and forth. You had the verses. Everybody talking about he ain't this, he ain't that. You ain't got this money. Money was at people's ears. And I jumped in the middle of it and I said, wait, hold on. These are our people that you talking about. The same people that you made it and went there and you looking down on, those are the same people that came from your environment. Why would you do that when you know what they're trying to do? They might not have that money, but don't make somebody feel bad for what they don't have. Why don't you uplift them for what they do have? And hip hop had a lot of that. A lot of downing people and people not treating people right. And as we point the finger and thought that it was the execs and all these people that we try to point the finger was really pointed at us. It's how we treat each other. And if you don't love your next neighbor, you ain't gonna be ready to give him that check for $100,000. You ain't gonna feel good in your heart about it because you're gonna want the money for yourself. But if you know that person deserves it and they got love for you and they're from the same place where you come from, you'll feel good giving them that check. But you don't. But you want to take from them. And that's the energy that was going on. So as social media looked on, I said, I'm going to jump in the middle of this, even if it feel like I'm embarrassing myself. And I ain't going to jump up on here and look like a damn fool, like Ren and 10 with all this Louis and Gucci and things like that. And I never told y'all this, but I sold my Gucci watch. I had a gold Gucci watch and it was a nice piece. And I love my watches, but I sold it because that's all the way to the T of the truth how I wanted to step to y'all. To show you the way I came up, I didn't have to worry about the logos and labels. People love me for who I was. People didn't have, just because I have a nice car, or whatever, or clothes, that doesn't mean anything. If you bullied somebody that I felt like they didn't have the things that I had, I would go on that person's side. Because I knew the things that I had, it didn't make me who I was. And I knew this from a kid. So for me to have to step in front of an audience that sees things for people's perception, it's going to take a feat. It's going to take for you to believe me. I didn't want to be the guy that have to go and buy the Rolex, buy the $8,000 Rolex and come up here and push it in your face. For what? But that's what they want to do. They want to go buy them other people brand and push it in your face. So you try to strive to go for that. But those ain't things to strive for, because them people don't want you to wear it. Them people don't want you to wear it. So while you putting that smile on your face and you taking them 100 pictures, just know that when them pictures pass by them people, they don't look at you the way you think they do. The only people that are going to look at you in that way is the people that are lost. And that's the reason why our culture, they always steal from us, because they're scared of us. They're scared that we can make something out of nothing. We don't have to buy into the things that everybody say is this. No, we invent the cool. If we keep going on what other people put in front of us and they telling us what's cool, we'll lose our sense of ourselves. And that's why hip hop in the game is like that now, because before somebody want to try something new, they want to do a karaoke or something that worked already. You understand? They want to do something that they know would possibly have an attachment to work. They don't want to jump over the hill and people say, oh, that's crazy. That sounds crazy. But so what? I just created it last night. If you give, people want the something that's going to be out there. Oh, that's proven to work. So I'm going to invest in that. They don't want to. What's this name? I don't know what this is. It might work, might not. Let's give it a shot. They don't want to go that route. No, they don't want to go that route. A lot of content creators, you're like, where this guy pop? He paid his way in his ads. He didn't build up chop it up with you guys and you have an understanding of who he was. He just popped up on the scene. And you just see the numbers going this and that. But who is he? Who is that person? Who are they? There's a lot of people put here to try to define who we are. And until we show ourselves as an individual, people will start to realize we have a lot more going for us than just entertaining people. We can do a lot more with ourselves. And we can do that dope stuff too with entertainment. We do everything. Your value comes within you. I don't have to come up here and because to me, it feels like, if I came up here with all that stuff and all the diamonds and this and that stuff on, I know the guy that's watching and saying, yeah, he has a message, but I don't think I'll ever get there. I might deter him. He might think that, that's it. I ain't trying to do that. He might think and it's nothing. It ain't anything. It's not anything. I'm telling you. The guy with all the jewelry and all that stuff, it attracts the wrong energy. And it's not saying, to be honest with you, think about it. A lot of that stuff looks gaudy. You're putting chains on top of chains on top of chains, and it's the wrong setup. The chains are all the same size, and they're all hanging on each other. The diamonds are scratching all over the place. You don't even know if they're real diamonds. The outfit you have, the jewelry, it doesn't even accommodate it with anything. It just it overshines what you're wearing. People can't see who you are because you have all this junk on, and now they put you in the category of one of those guys, and you're not like that. You just wanted the attention. You wanted to be heard. Okay, so boom, you got the attention. You could take the stuff off now. You could take the mask off now and let people know who you really are. Because I'm not going to sit up here with this. It's a lot of fake stuff. And the same fake stuff is what's made people do surgeries and all this wicked stuff to themselves. And them type of doctors, do you even do history on those type of doctors? Come on. Come on, you guys. Come on. Everything that we do from this point on, you have to take 3-4 times. You have to check it 3-4 times to make sure. Do that for me. Do that for me, man. Damn. It's crazy out here, man. Don't follow people just because they're telling you to go somewhere. Really figure it out. And if you don't understand it, don't go yet. If everybody's saying listen to the album on this day, no, I'll listen to it tomorrow. I have something to do with my family, and tomorrow when I get to it, I'm gonna listen to it all the way through. Don't jump on this line of what people are telling you to do. No, you have a lot more to do for yourself before people could tell you how to feel about somebody else. How do you feel about me? You have stress and things going on in your life too that you might need possibly somebody to answer a question or two from. Why they ain't coming up with that? They're just giving you this happy life. It's not all about happiness. Happiness is a great part of it. But there's other things, the experience of it all, it doesn't just snap on with happiness. It comes with struggle. It comes with heartache and pain. We lose people that we love on a daily that we never thought we'd lose. And we lose them in a snap of a finger. And what do? We have to find it in ourselves to keep moving on. But yeah, man, I love you guys. It's Monday. I hope you take this energy, put it in your back pocket, keep it in your heart, and just make sure you travel and let somebody else know. And let me tell you something. Just because it's Monday, don't feel down. You got a lot of energy. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. And we can't just sit up here and just give it all away for nothing. Today, try to learn something new. Or try to, you know what? Tomorrow, wear a new color. Wear a new color to work. That's just a little tad of new color. Do something different every single day, no matter what it is. And you'll find yourself training yourself to learn and pick up on things a lot quicker. I pick up on things and reading people is because it was an everyday thing. Just sometimes, like, I'll take my break and I'll be in the city. I'll go get my little, it's like a protein shake type of thing I used to get. And I'll do my walk and then I'll just observe things going on in the city and people, how they treat people, how they, from the hot dog guy to the guy over there selling something on the carpet or, whatever. I'm always observing things in my surroundings. Because if you're going to embody you got to know it inside out, right? And that's just how I took the city, to how I took New York. And everywhere I go, I try to find something within, learn or try to find something new, You do that every single day. You keep doing that every single day. You'll be so happy that when something new arrives or say a hurdle comes in, oh, you don't want to mess with me? Fine. Okay. I'm so ready to see something new. I learned from that situation. And what can I take out of that I can carry on to make my next situation better? And that's how life works. It's just like steps. You keep stepping. Sometimes the steps don't take you all the way. Sometimes just step back and you take a little step back, understanding, okay, step back up. So that's just how life works, man. I hope you guys take that with you. I love you guys. Thank you for always tuning in. And I promise you to stay true all the way through. All right? Love you. Until next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, a.k.a. Mickey Made It. And if you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now.